right. Whether it's the mental, physical, or even financial aspect that sticks out, what has been the biggest change for you in evolving from an amateur athlete to frankly achieving your dream and becoming a full-time professional rugby player?
I think, to be honest, financially, obviously, the pay is much better than when I was semi-pro, trying to work around needing a job, still getting paid, trying to put time in and effort into playing and making that next sort of jump, and having the self-belief that I could and it was worth it. And then that weight to be taken off when making it pro was sort of eye-opening, because you get a different view on what sport is like. The way that you can have late mornings just looking after your body. The next day you don't have to be at work at whenever. Like when I was working as a painter and decorator when I was younger, still playing, trying to make it, waking up at 6 something, not having time or not wanting to go to the gym before, but then going to the gym after work, and then still having to wake up early the next day. Whereas now, you get the main thing that I do in my day to day is sort of recovery, and you just don't get that opportunity.
No,
which is hard then, because I think now if I wasn't getting that recovery, I wouldn't be as physically, I don't know, hasn't got such good space as I am now. Of course. Which you don't get you don't get that chance as an amateur athlete.
No, it's a privilege, right? And I think the irony is that you've obviously got to make those sacrifices and put that work in and be sort of unbalanced in that you might not be fully recovered and you might not be fully performing, but you just got to freaking grind it out. But then when you do make it, you get that sort of luxury, if you like, of right, I've got this extra time now, and that affords you to be able to perform better, right?
And it's the whole time, when you haven't made it, the thoughts in your head, is it worth it? Can I just miss today? Now, when I wake up and I feel like we got training, and I know it's gonna be a hard day, or we've got to do condition or something, shit, I don't want to do this, but I'm getting paid, it's all right. Back in the day, when I was I should probably do a on feet cardio, just by myself after work, middle winter, raining, no one else is around. It's hard to make yourself do that, but of course, it's worth it though.
Yeah, evidently so. Prime example,
that's the thing. You just got to weigh up: is it worth it for you? How much is going pro your goal versus enjoyment and just doing it for yourself,
And that'll be different for everyone, right? I think.
Yeah, definitely.
I think there's going to be a lot of people who are I want to progress, but a lot of people will just want to be able to, because you can obviously still be competitive and you can compete at lower levels as a semi-pro, but it's a big commitment, right? Just step up and then go really put in that time, that focus, whilst you're doing other things ultimately, to then be able to get to the next level.
So whether you want to do it for yourself or just what your goal is at the end of the day, changes for everyone.
It's a different kind of enjoyment, right? Do you enjoy putting that work in and putting all that time and investment into it? Because I've spoken about there's so many people that I've done the podcast with so far. They've all spoken about you've got to enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
For whatever reason you're doing it for, whatever your sport is, whatever you train and whatnot, if you're not enjoying it, it kind of defeats the whole point of it, right?
And it's not going to last. If you don't actually love the start of it, love something about it, when it gets hard, you're not going to want to do it.
Yeah. Okay, right. So I just have to briefly mention what is technically a support of the episode, which was kind of crazy to say now, who are Ep4, and they're very kindly let me use their pretty awesome location in Basingstoke. So if you haven't heard of them, they're a great concept. Ep4 it's a round-the-clock gym, so 24-hour. Get round-the-clock access to ultimately suit your schedule, and you just need to download the app to make a booking. So the idea being is that if you lack confidence, or you don't feel ready, or maybe you're a new PT, or for any other reasons, they provide a space that is private for you to start your fitness journey. Gyms are obviously a great place to meet other people and really work on yourself, but can be hard to start there. So Ep4 is here to help those people and ultimately build up their confidence. So if you're interested, just download the Ep4 app and make a booking. So that's where we are today.
Yeah, pretty cool place, actually.
Indeed. Anyway, back to you. So ultimately, who are you, and what do people need to know about you?
Yeah, so Jack Rampton, one of Harrison's oldest friends.
Indeed, as we were just saying.
We went to school together, started playing rugby in school.
Yeah.
Took it almost a step further, played for Jamaica on the World Series, played a lot of sevens around the world, ended up played a lot of semi-pro, now playing professional rugby. That's why I'm here as an amateur athlete, whatever.
I was going to say, I feel like we should make that clear sort of off the bat. I think we were talking about this when you were still semi-pro, and then obviously you've now made that step. But I think that was still why I still wanted to do this, because obviously we are ultimately trying to sort of tailor and speak to the amateur athlete gap.
Yeah.
But there's obviously a lot of people in that space who maybe want to make that step or are trying to make that step. And well, you're an example of someone who has been able to do that.
Yeah. It still feels weird saying.
Yeah.
Like even my first like semi-pro contracts and stuff, it felt weird. I've always sort of wanted it and known, almost like known that I would be able to make it. It's just how much do you put into it?
Time, opportunities.
And like playing where we did, like not having some of the exposure that some other people in like the field now have, like academy stuff. Like the club we played, that was it's pretty small.
I was going to say, like, how has that changed? Because obviously, I remember back when we were playing, obviously just at secondary school. Like I knew about it, that it happened, but like you had the county thing, which was kind of serious, but it seemed it wasn't like a massive thing. And then you had a few academies doing like some of the college scholarships, I guess you call them, or schemes. But it didn't seem to be a massive thing. Like, is that changed now? Is it a lot bigger? Is there more of it?
Yeah, so it started way back just after sort of COVID. I actually went to watch my sister play.
Okay.
So I'd messaged this team on social media, got completely aired. But she was playing for the women's team. So I went up and we were speaking, and I just spoke to one of the coaches. I like message you guys. Like, I'm like interested in like getting into like sevens kind of thing. They're like, we're playing in Newbury next week. We've got 2 teams. We've got like a second team, whatever. You can come watch. You can be like 13th man, which is like the travelling reserve. So chances are you won't play, but like whatever. So go along. Someone gets injured, end up playing. Don't have that great of a game, whatever. Okay. But then play sort of the rest of that season for them. I think my next tournament was man of the tournament. We won. So from there, like started to snowball a bit, and then literally end of that summer, got picked up by Jamaica, and then like a week or 2 later was playing like the World Series in Canada. So it was kind of
quick. Yeah.
And then from that, our coach from Jamaica coached the team out in California. So I went up there, trained. We had Jamaica had a deal with them for the World Cup. So we trained and stuff out there, played in the World Cup, and then next year played out there again, got signed there, so played that year, sort of like semi-pro. And then what happened after that? I'm trying to think of my years and all the time. And then ended up playing a lot of like more sevens and like for like lots of teams. So sevens is quite a weird, not like many other sports. There's a lot of like sort of not many big contracts, but there's lots of sort of little contracts.
Sure.
So like through the summer when I'll be playing, like sign the contract, play that week, get paid for that week. Then sort of after that, you're not really sure.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that. Played in cool places for cool teams. And then, got picked up by my agent. And then from there, so it's just getting that was almost sort of a lot of getting footage and that kind of stuff. To then when my opportunity came, I got reached out by an agent, I had all the stuff.
I was going to say, how pivotal was that then, getting an agent in terms of, I guess, finding opportunities, but also having access to sort of more clubs and just sort of getting a foot in the door, if you like?
I would say it's like any world. Like, it's just who you know. Yeah. Like, it's the same in like business and jobs and that kind of thing. Yeah. If you don't know, you're not out there, like you're not going to get the opportunity. It is genuinely just who you know. Yeah. There's so many people at whatever level that you think, how have you made it here? It's just because they know someone, they've known them for a long time, and they've got the opportunity. Like, I know so many people that could play professional, that are better than a lot of people that I've played with and stuff, but just haven't had the opportunity.
No.
And I don't know if that's a controversial thing to say, but it is just.
I mean, I get it. Like, I've seen that in football. I probably saw a little bit of rugby, even though like it wasn't even that serious when I was playing. But I don't know. It feels wrong, but also you can understand it, right? Because ultimately, if you don't put your face in the right places, even though if that doesn't feel like that shouldn't feel like something you have to do, right? You should. It should just be a case of are you good enough or not?
Yeah, but it's not.
But it's not. There's a lot of politics. Like this is a prime thing in football. Like if you're not sort of in with the right crowd, you're the right people. It rings true so much, doesn't it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's so like realistically.
Yeah, I was going to say it's almost sad in a way, right? Because people will like not
miss
make
out.
it who arguably should. No, strange one really. So where would you say it started? Like you said, you've kind of always known, always wanted that you were sort of going to be able to make it or trying to make it. But when was it? When did it go from being I just enjoy doing this to like okay, maybe I could make something of this?
I think it probably was being picked up by Jamaica. But I always wanted to. I think as a kid, you always want to play sport all the time.
We all do, right?
And then that summer, playing sevens, so almost realizing, oh wait, I can get paid for this. And then playing for Jamaica, playing on the World Series, and playing like with people that I've like looked up to, like sort of my whole like career, good like life, whatever, growing up, and like in the same hotels. I don't know if you remember like Cardinals and stuff, like the fastest like rugby players ever, like, and just being there. I think that's when like, okay, like this, if I'm good enough to be here, like why should I stop here?
Yeah.
So that was a bit of like validation that
for sure
you can sort of go for it.
And when did Jamaica pick you up? Where were you playing?
I was 20.
Okay.
It was just after COVID, so it just finished like that summer or whatever. That was the first summer that we were allowed to like mix again. Like,
and is that considered like early or late or normal in terms of when you sort of people get to the higher levels, if you like?
It's probably a little bit early-ish.
Okay.
Like it's mid-ground, but like didn't have an opportunity sort of the year or two before that, obviously because of COVID.
No,
so we were like just after college, 18, 19, that age, we weren't playing, so
no,
you're not going to get picked up. So it was sort of almost as early as it could have been.
Yeah.
And it was my first time playing sevens, so which was also wild that at the end of that summer, like my debut for Jamaica was against GB, which was weird to.
How did you actually get into sevens then, like playing that for the first time? Did you go looking for it, or was
it was through my sister. Really.
Okay.
Like I think I'd played like one sevens tournament when we grew up, maybe, but never really. I'd watched like the World Series and stuff on TV, so I just liked the sport. Obviously, like big fan of rugby growing up, so I watched some of that, but never really knew how you would get into it. And then doing that, like just reaching out, sort of broadened my heart. Like I opened my eyes to what the world of sevens like was, which was
See, I kind of get that, right, because I obviously like knew the sort of player you were, and that obviously suits your game a lot, right? Whereas another player might not. So I guess that's kind of a natural.
Yeah.
You might be inclined to go and sort of think, oh, I'll give that a go.
Yeah.
But what a cool little story. Like, okay, I'll give this a try. Oh yeah, I got picked up by Jamaica.
Yeah. And then
as you do.
Snowballs.
No, brilliant. Okay. What's it been like? Because obviously, from those sort of past few years where it was sort of semi-pro, like obviously you said you had contracts and whatnot, but then really making that change where you got your first professional one. You were obviously, I assume, trying to get to that pro level probably that whole time, right?
Yeah.
What was it like when it sort of clicked and like that waiting period that you actually got to do it?
Oh, it was weird because I remember this. It's kind of I don't know. I mean, I'm going to say this. We're on a podcast, but so do you remember? I used to date this girl called Danielle.
Okay.
And I used to work for her dad at the time because he was a painter and decorator.
Right.
And at that time, it worked well being able to go travel, play for whoever, and then come back and still have work on. Like I wasn't tied down.
Okay, yeah.
It was a good job to be able to work around sort of my schedule of pushing towards my goals.
Yeah.
we broke up, and I kept working for her dad. So it was quite weird that he was. I mean, we obviously got on, so he knew sort of my goals that I wanted.
Sure.
To be able to make that next step, and I was thankful that I had that opportunity to have that job that allowed me to make that push.
Yeah.
I think, and it's weird to think now, like if I didn't have that job, if I went to uni or went on a different path, that I wouldn't have probably had the opportunity to make that gap. The amount of travel I had to do and come back before making that jump to like semi-pro, moving away and playing professional, that kind of stuff. I almost needed that gap in between because I didn't have that exposure yet. So yeah, it was a bit of a weird one. But it was,
flexibility key.
It was But it also wasn't too flexible. Yeah. Because like, I mean, when I was back, I was working like every day. Like, waking up like 6 till like 5, whatever. Yeah. So it was like long days, and then still on your feet all day, and then still having to put in time and work. To try. And all this time, I was like messaging like teams and stuff, and hearing nothing back because at the start, out of COVID, I wasn't anyone really. I didn't have any footage really, that kind of stuff. So it was weird, but it was something that you just had to have faith in what I wanted. I knew that I wanted the next step.
You clearly sort of chipped away though, right, over that time and did that kind of outreach. So I was going to say, do you think that was a sign of something that was just a case of it's necessary in terms of messaging teams, that you're going in blind because maybe you didn't have the connections, you didn't know people, you just had to write, I'm going to message this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, to see who.
You never know. Someone could have. I mean, no one ever did write back until like years later. But no one ever wrote back. It wasn't until, like I said, like playing for Jamaica, and the coach there, like again, meeting the right person at the right time that has a connection somewhere else. That's how it stemmed. That's where it came from. That's where it stemmed from. So
it's just having the right conversation.
But that's another point of still staying ready for.
I was literally about to say that. I was like, because you said staying ready because you never know when your opportunity will come.
Yeah.
And what my question was like, because obviously I've seen where you've been, like you've gone to so many different places and the opportunities you've chased down, right? But what do you think is like the importance and the necessity of doing that, being ready in terms of just development and growth, and like how much of it was choosing to go and do it, or how much of it was this is what I need to do to get to the next step or whatever, or was it just a case of, I want to go and play sevens, or is it like, no, hang on, I need to go and do X in this country and play for that team to be able to progress?
Yeah. I think it changes. I think for me specifically in sevens, I'm having my goal of wanting to be pro. I think it changes slightly to say someone that just wants to say do a marathon, compete highly, and maybe doesn't want to go pro.
No, sure.
I think for me, I always thought like late night gym sessions and stuff. I was thinking, what is the best in my like field doing? And wanting to at least match that.
Sure.
And then, because like say the Jamaica stuff, like I was all through COVID, I was like towards the end of COVID, I was like, I want to be playing rugby. I want to give this summer like a good shot. So I was training like hard, going on runs and doing like everything I should, like being in the gym, eating clean, not knowing that it was going to come like a month later. But if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't have got the first opportunity that stemmed into the second, stemmed into third and fourth and that kind of stuff. So I think, especially if your goal is to make it pro, you almost have to do more than what the pros do. So they get everything given to them. Like it's crazy how much easier it is when you are professional.
And I think you ultimately a massive. It's just a time suck, right? Work, like obviously you need it to pay the bills, but when you're trying to pursue something outside of it almost just gets in the way. Because it's like, right, but I need to dedicate this much time to my training, to my recovery, to research, outreach for teams. But you've got limited time, right?
You got money, you got time off from work, you got all these other factors that almost don't make it. They don't make it easier. That's for sure.
No, but necessary in a lot of cases, right? Do you think there's more of a? I don't want to say easier because I feel like that's wrong, but routes into the higher levels of rugby now? Whether it's with academies or our teams better set up for that, or is it still a case that you think people just have to like go the hard way and do what you did, sort of thing?
It's tough. I feel like it's the easiest way is get picked up when you're young, and then that's it. Everyone, the higher you go, like you meet people that know everyone. Like it trickles down sort of from the top.
Sure,
so it's easier to start when you're young, get picked up. Yeah, it's obviously possible if you haven't had the opportunity, you haven't had the exposure to do it, but it is harder. Like I don't think there was another. I was playing in Hull this year. I don't think there was another person that wasn't in an academy full stop, whether that was Hull's or a different club, then they've transferred, whatever.
And what's the sort of age people are getting into academies now? Is it from college? Like, because that also seemed like the place it started when we were back then.
So you'll get like scholarships, so that'll be like end of school, sort of start college. And then you got academy boys that from like 17, for college ages. They'll be signed with the club, and then the club has like either an affiliated college or
college through the club.
So they get their education.
Okay, no, interesting. But
then you're pretty much training like 3 or 4 times a week from like 15, 14.
Are they common now? Like the more clubs doing it?
Yeah. I think at least in like say Super League, like pretty much every club has academies. Like.
It's interesting because it was the same in football. So you only really saw it in say like the Premiership and Premier League. And maybe some of the Championship clubs were doing sort of, you could go to college with them. Like it was a rare thing, whereas now it feels like way down the football pyramid, there's so many clubs that will offer some kind of setup. You could do football full time, basically. Which is good, right? But
then it's only for a certain age. Like if you miss out on that, then and there's only a certain amount of people each year that do it.
It's hard to get into. That's what I was going to ask. Because obviously,
I don't know if you remember us at school. I wasn't like big, really.
No,
I was never in the like sort of. I think 18 was when I had like a big.
I was going to say you shot up late. So I remember you came to me when I was at work when I used to work in jewellery. I remember seeing you after I hadn't seen you for like a year or something, and you shot up, and I was like, "What?"
And I mean, so I'm celiac as well. So before I was diagnosed, when I was 9, I was like the smallest in class, sort of like the run. Had a big growth spurt then, and then didn't really grow much till like college. But now, obviously, being like 6'5", it makes it easier. Like
I was going to say,
because it always was, especially like when you're young, like with academies, they pick the biggest kids. And they try because you can't teach size. You can teach skills. You can't teach size.
It was so funny. I remember I went to the trials for Hampshire one year. And like I can't remember, there was some reason I think it was either the case they just had a really strong club existing squad or something. They weren't really looking for players, even though there were trials on.
They were just
there was one guy, there was one kid, and he was like 6'2" or something, and he was a prop, and he was a unit. This is only like 16.
Yeah.
And it was like the first session started. He's like, "Yeah, you're coming with the existing team." Like, but nobody else got picked for anything.
That's how it is.
But it's funny, right? What's celiac like for actually sort of paying attention to diet? Obviously, that's such a massive thing now, like what you eat and whatnot across any sport. Is that something you have to really pay attention to, or you find it's quite easily manageable?
I mean, so I've been celiac. I don't know if someone doesn't know, celiac's being allergic to wheat. So having a gluten-free diet. I mean, I was diagnosed when I was 9. I'm 24 now. So I've been living there with it for like 15 years. So for me, it feels natural, but it's harder going abroad to, especially play 7. It was harder going abroad to sort of Southern Europe and especially South America, where you don't know the language, that kind of stuff. But like at home, I'd say my diet, I don't eat gluten-free stuff. I eat food that doesn't have gluten in it, if that makes sense.
Okay, no, I know.
So like, I won't go out and buy like gluten-free bread and stuff. I'd eat meat, potatoes, veg, like stuff that doesn't naturally contain that kind of stuff. I've been and am quite sort of strict on what I put in my body and what I consume and that kind of stuff. So I try not to do like any sugar and that kind of stuff. So it just fits in, I think. With a healthy lifestyle, it does sometimes hinder going like out like for food and stuff, but you can find like nowadays. Like when I was diagnosed, I had to get bread and stuff on prescription from the doctors. Like,
no way.
Yeah, like now there's so many options. It's pretty easy, and you learn sort of what you can have. So obviously like an omelette isn't going to have gluten, but you just
No, sure.
be aware of like telling the staff to like let them know like if you just clean the pan out first,
Yeah,
just to make
yeah,
sure
yeah,
like that
yeah.
kind of thing.
No, okay.
And you learn what can like hide gluten, like some sausages.
Yeah,
and stuff.
Okay.
It helps keep me lean, I'd say.
Yeah.
Get rid of bread and pizza and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's just basic stuff, right? But yeah, it can be hard, but no, it makes a difference. I mean, diet's everything, right?
Yeah.
But okay, so we've spoken a lot about your year 7 stuff, but you're playing league at the moment.
Yeah.
But you have obviously done union.
Yeah.
What how have you found sort of the different, like, just at least just doing sort of the 3 different types? Because I feel like to sort of people that maybe don't know rugby as much would be like, oh, they're all the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
But even I know, like, someone just playing a bit of union, I know there's quite distinct difference in terms of how you play, how you train. Like, how has that been for you?
I think obviously coming into it, you see there's differences, you do your research, that kind of stuff. But you never learn it until you're playing it. Like, there's just little habits that you get in your head from like union, like presenting the ball when you get tackled. That kind of stuff isn't a thing in like league. When you're going up, you're not looking for an offload in league. So it's just little ways you got to tweak your brain. But I mean, I love learning. I love learning like physically.
Yeah,
I'm not the best at like when we're going through team sheets and team runs and whatever. Seeing on paper doesn't mean too much to me, but actually walking through is like the way that I learn.
No, for sure.
It's been good. It's been fun.
Yeah,
but it's a completely different game.
Have you made any like mistakes in the game where you sort of changed discipline? You're like, crap, I
haven't made any in the game. Thank God. There was a training session and I got tackled. I just turned around and everyone's like, Jack, what the fuck are you doing? Like, shit. I've been told so many times. I've been blasted so many times. Like, we used to do, I was in California, we'd do like a whole day a week on just like presenting the ball. Because it's such like a key skill in that sport.
Yeah.
That if you're not like presenting the ball because you're so isolated, you're getting turned over.
No, sure.
And then coming from that, like, it's just, your body does it without you thinking. So it's just teaching the body to do.
Just get into the habit of it, right? No, exactly. Habits, everything so much.
Yeah.
I feel like it's worth clarifying. So in union, right, you sort of obviously present the ball and people ruck over and whatnot. Yeah. But obviously in league, you don't really, like, they tackle, you stop, on the floor, and you roll it back. Yeah. Yeah, like, I've always found it. Which one do you prefer?
I don't know. I think league is simpler. You just catch the ball and run. Yeah. But I would say sevens is what I'm more suited to more. Like, I was body type, that kind of stuff. Like being tall and quite gangly and long, good at kickoffs and not too slow. So I think that definitely suits me well. But I mean, league, similar stuff. Like, there's a lot of high ball competing and still having the speed from 7. So a lot of transferable skills. It is the same game at its core. There's a lot of little differences. Yeah. But I love learning that. So it's been good.
No, I can bet. Do you think sort of 7's getting? We spoke about this a while back last time you were playing with Jamaica, and sort of how it's starting to get a bit more wider coverage, if you like. And do you think it is still getting there, or has it still got a long way to go to sort of compete with the other format?
I think there's still a long way to go. There's been a lot of changes recently in, like, say, GB's setup to make it sort of less appealing to try and push for pro or even semi-pro. So they've gone from like a full-time model, like salaried players and stuff, to a sort of camp model. So the World Series has been like cut down in the amount of stages and stuff. So there's only a certain amount of stops. So they're doing, like, say, a week and a half camp before each tournament. You get paid for that time that you're in. Yeah. And then you go and play. But for a lot of people that are on contracts, even if you're contracted for a 15s club, they're probably not going to want to let you go for 2 weeks. And then if you've got a job and you wanted to play like semi-pro, that's tough fitting that in. Yeah. And getting a coherent team that's the same for 4 or 5 months, whatever, because people aren't going to have that time off from work. No. So it's not in a good spot, I'd say, at the minute. But it changes around the world. Like Australia's got a good system, like, where they're getting paid like good money, like 6 figures sort of a year. And it just, the disparity between that and some of the other nations is.
Why do you think that is? Is it a cultural thing, sort of prioritising sport, or is it a case of, like, is there the money there?
I think it is a cultural thing. Yeah. Because, like, you think about, say, American football in America, the amount of people
No,
who watch that, the
sure,
size
yeah.
they can play. American football happens here, but no one watches it here, so you can't pay the players. It's that kind of thing.
Sure.
So if there's money in the sport, that doesn't mean it has to be spread out evenly across like the whole world. So it's tough, and there's not much you can do about that. You can't really call it unfair because
no, and it's funny. I was doing a bit of digging before this, and sort of Eddie Jones came out and has said about some of the issues in, well, this is union, but how there's maybe not the money yet, and rugby sort of as a whole is in a bit of a bad spot. It's tough, right? Because I think it's something that gets spoken about a lot, sort of like the pro levels of football and how not important but influential those sponsorship deals and the TV rights deals are, and how like the money in it is just ridiculous, and that's a massive source of it. And it's, you hear people talk about it all the time, like how these players paid so much, but it's a case of there is that much money in the sports. It's like, where does it go? So like, surely maybe it's right to go to the players. But then you've got another sport in rugby where almost you've got not that it's not covered, but it's not quite the same, right?
There's probably not many other sports that are the same as like football.
No. I mean, you'd compare it to some of the American sports, right? Wouldn't you? Like the money there is big, but football in the UK, there's nothing close to it, is there?
No.
It's nuts, really.
It is weird. It's weird to think that, like, how many sports are there that are that big, and then making it pro in a different sport. What does that look like? Say like athletics, like how much, like Usain Bolt and stuff, like the world's greatest. How many at that level get paid what amount? I don't know if that makes sense.
I got the numbers for it in the UK. It's something like 76 or something out of 100 and something thousand athletes in the UK for athletics get elite level funding.
Yeah, and what is elite level funding?
Well,
does that cover like just training? Is that enough to be full time?
Yeah, well, this is it. And I can't remember who the guy was, but someone got picked for Great Britain for, it must have been like the last championships. What was in Japan? That was it. And then he was asked to pay X amount, I can't remember what it was, to be able to go. And he was like, I can't afford this.
Yeah,
like,
I've been working.
And this is it. And it was the whole thing of like, you've put all this work in, you've got selected for your country, you've got there, and now they're asking you to cover all these bills, basically. You're like, well, hang on, that shouldn't be how it is, right? That's sort of wrong because, well, it's just, if you've worked that hard and you've invested your own time, money as well, sort of to a sport, and then the reason you can't then do it at the very, very pinnacle is because you can't afford to. That feels a bit backwards,
doesn't feel fair in a way. And that's sort of what happened with GB. So they missed out on Olympic qualification. And if your sport makes the Olympics, you get covered by the lottery as funding. So they missed out. So they cut funding, and that's why they've had to go down to a different model because they're not making money, which just makes it harder then to make it.
I was going to say, do you see a direct impact in terms of, like, it sounds kind of obvious that you would, but like the countries that obviously invest more into their team and the development, do you see that in terms of like, does it replicate onto like the competitive level? Like how good they are, basically? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, especially like when you're looking for like just like 1%ers at the top. I was going to
say,
like being able just to, like we'd have like, at the end of every day, like I'd always like use like the hyperbolic like oxygen chamber and like with ice bath and stuff. Like stuff that you just don't have. Like as a semi-pro, you don't have that option. No. And then the next day we'd only like be in every other day. So the next day you're just off your feet. You're chilling, you're with your friends, you go for coffee, you go for lunch and chill
out,
Like you're not having the stress of work and stuff, and you don't have to go into bed, and you can fill your time with like stuff that you enjoy outside of it. So I don't know, it's tough but then that brings another point of like wanting to strive for that. But then not every discipline has that. So I don't know. But then if you have the love for it, is that enough?
There's an argument. Go down a philosophical route there. What's it like in America? Obviously, you spent a lot of time playing out there. Is it sort of a bigger sport out there? Is it smaller? Or
so they got a lot of investors that are trying to pump a lot of money into it. But it's weird. So when we were out there playing their thing called PR7s, we'd get paid like decent wages. And we're playing big stadiums, and there'd be like no one there. Like it was so weird, and it feels like there's just not it's like doesn't feel sustainable.
Mm.
Like we were getting paid like good money.
Yeah.
Playing at the final in like DC place, they're paying obviously for everything. Like we're getting paid X amount. They're paying for the hotels. They're paying for all this. We've been training for how long? And then there's, I don't know, like 100 family and friends in the stadium. Like, it doesn't feel like at the minute it's not quite clicking. But if you got on big enough pockets, you could probably make it. But it's just when would they leave because they don't see return on investment? Like there was in the MLR, which is like Major League Rugby, which is the professional 15s league in America. Like there's a team called the LA Guillotinis. They had an investor. They won the league. They had lots of like big sort of players. They won the league. Did everything that you could to make almost the most successful team you could.
Yeah, sure.
And that end of that year, they went under. That if you're winning the league and you still can't stay afloat, not a good sign probably.
Yeah, I was going to say
it's hard to change it. Like,
there's only 6 top tier teams apparently. The USA's top tier. There's only 6 teams or something.
I think there's a few more than that, but there's only one league that's pro. But not even some of those players will be on like semi-pro contracts.
Okay.
So in the UK, it's a bit different. Like everyone would be sort of pro. You'd have academy players that are getting not much money, but everyone else above that is on like a full-time wage kind of. But over there, you have some boys that are like semi-pro kind of mixed in with boys that are from. Say you get retired like international players and stuff. They're marquee players. They're on like quite big money. Like Chris Robshaw went over there, was on like big money, like Mountain Army. These big players that play for like England and New Zealand have had like extensive careers, got paid silly money, and still going over there and on really good money. And then you get some boys in the team that are on like pennies. Yeah, which is weird.
Do you think that will change though? Because I was going to say football in the US was on a very similar model, and you still see it a bit now. But I think the general sort of like, if you like, the average standard has raised a lot. And even though you are still getting like ex-players from Europe and the UK going over there at the end of their career, I think the general standard is improving. The interest is definitely a lot higher now from like a fan point of view. So do you think rugby's on that path, or do you think it's just going to struggle? Because obviously they always compare it to American football because it's almost like a stripped back version of that, right? And you do hear people in America say like, well, why doesn't rugby work? Because it's a similar concept. But I guess American football, it's just established and it's huge there, right?
They're born into American football. Like the amount of, like when I was playing, we'd have some American guys we'll see on the team. And like they've been playing football from like the same age we were playing rugby over here. They're like from like 6 years old. And I don't know. I mean, I think Americans would like it. It's a more complicated game to understand. In that point of view, like if you just walk up to a pub or bar, a sports bar over there, whatever, and it's on, you're not really going to understand what's going on. But I think if they knew, they would like it. But I don't know. It's tough to break that. I mean, they've been trying everything they can. So I don't know.
Do you know if it's getting much backing from the government? Not that we really should be going into politics or anything, but I was just thinking because obviously in the UK you've seen like say women's football or like I'm just trying to think what else, but let's just take women's football where so like the UK England women's team won the Euros or whatever it was, and you've really seen since like, there's been a lot of funding from like the FA and the government pushing women's football, and generally on TV it gets a lot more covered. Like from all angles, it's been pushed, and now there's more money in it, right? People are getting paid more. Like you're seeing the transfer record being broken each window and stuff. Like it is really growing.
I'm not sure about across all leagues, all levels, whatever. But I do know that. America women's obviously they made the Olympics and they won bronze. So after that, there was a big private investor. Don't quote me on this.
Is this rugby or football?
Yeah, this is rugby. This is rugby sevens. So there's a big female investor. Right. I want to say nearly like 40. It's like might be like 4 or 40 million, but whatever she put 40.
Big difference.
But just
say it's a lot of money.
But over X amount of years but just the women's side of sevens. So that means, but they get funding from the government in terms of they train the Olympic Training Centre, all the athletes that live around there, and they do get funding through that. But I don't know how they make their money almost. So I don't know whether that is through the government, through private investors.
And is Olympics, is that kind of the pinnacle for sevens, men's and women's, or are their own individual sevens tournaments? Because there's the sevens, it's the World Championship.
Yeah, so you got the World Series, which is done every year, all year round. That is a big deal.
Because that gets fairly well covered on TV, doesn't it?
I mean, it used to play at Twickenham and be covered like big time on like the TV and stuff and all of that. It's died down a little bit now.
Okay.
But that's still a big thing. And then you've got the Sevens World Cup, which is probably bigger than the World Series. I'd say to win a World Cup is going to be bigger. And then the Olympics probably is bigger because the whole world watches like the Olympics. Even if you're not watching sevens, like the stadiums are still like sold out.
Sure.
So I'd say it probably is the pinnacle realistically. I mean, everyone wants to be Olympian, don't they?
Yeah, like it's true, isn't it? And I think it's interesting, like for football as well, it's become a bigger thing.
If you had the opportunity, you would, like Neymar and Messi and stuff. If you have the opportunity,
it's the Olympics, right? It's still. I just wondered sort of how it kind of stacked up against sort of like its own sport.
But then that's the other thing. Like in football, you'd say World Cup is bigger than the Olympics.
Yeah,
like because Messi's won the Olympics, no? I'm pretty sure.
Yes, early in his career actually with Argentina.
But if you asked him, the World Cup's more important.
Yeah, way.
But I'd say sevens Olympics is.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, concussion. That was kind of the next thing.
Yeah.
You said you learned the importance of brain health and maintenance, and it's weird. I think it's funny. Sort of head injuries and concussion feels like kind of a given. Not that it's good, but like it's a given sort of danger and risk and accepted in rugby. Yeah. And it's interesting. Like I feel like we're giving a lot of references to football, but in the past sort of year or so, there's definitely been a lot more awareness and push for safety around head injuries in football. There's like new rules that you have to go off and get an assessment or something, and it's really pushed down to the lower levels as well, sort of in youth teams and whatnot. Has that changed much in rugby? Because I feel like it was all, like, I remember I got slammed in the head all the time playing rugby. Like it's just part of it.
Yeah.
But is it sort of changing at all? Is there more sort of safety around it and precautions? Or?
Yeah, there's definitely is more safety. Like you have to wear like special gum shields that have like sensors, and if your force goes above a certain amount.
Got to explain that because I feel like that's quite interesting.
Yeah, so you have like a little chip in like a special gum shield, and like you have your medic team on the side, and if you get flagged that your bite force has been too high, that signals like a head knock or rock or something, you have to get taken off for like HIA, the head injury assessment, and then so you before playing, I believe at any level you have to do like a SCAT test. Don't know what SCAT stands for, but it's basically just I probably did. That's probably the head test. So you have to do this test. They basically like test like your cognitive function, like tell you to like starting from January, say the months backwards, time how quick you do it, and give you a list of numbers to name off backwards, that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
So then when you get knocked on a pitch, they ask you the same thing, and you have to be able to answer within like a certain margin of what your baseline was, just to make sure that you've not completely like
just gone down.
So there is definitely a lot more with that. Like there never really used to be. You never really used to get taken off. You get taped up.
Yeah.
If you cut yourself, but like if you get a big head knock, if you get up and you can play on, you would have played on. But now, if they see that you've been out, you're off. At least for head HIA, and there's more protocols on return to play, so it's a bit longer, and it helps. There's a lot more like studies now on like what to do for like brain health. Like say you get a concussion, you should take like. I want to say it's like 25 grams of creatine for a week, which is a lot. I'm not considering normal servings like 5 grams. So it's like obviously creatine and brain health there's a big.
Wait, so are you saying that's when you've had a knock? You should take it
concussion
25 grams.
It's something like that. It's like it's way more than you think.
Oh, interesting.
For like a week.
Oh, and that's meant to help with sort of like the recovery timeline.
Yeah.
Interesting. No, because I have seen studies not to that effect, but just in terms of the impact. So obviously, it was the classic thing that creating. I was like, it helps with strength and recovery in the gym, and a lot of the studies were done on performance output or like recovery timelines physically. But then what they started looking at was the impact it actually had on your cognitive ability and like memory and stuff. So they got people just doing sort of like written exams and whatnot and tests, and they found sort of people who are using creatine, the results were way better. So it was really interesting because sort of it was never the obvious thing if you're like oh, this helps your brain. It's just physically like people use it to get like pumped up and whatnot.
It's definitely a big effect on your mental cognitive ability.
What happened to you then? You said you had a bit of an issue with it.
Yeah, I've had a few concussions obviously in my career. Like it's just something that happens. A few times it can be quite hard. I remember I was playing out in California. It was the first game we'd played, and there was a freak thunderstorm, freak rainstorm. We were playing on 4G. It was pouring wet. It was horrible. I was sort of scrag tackled, like they grabbed my shirt, spun me around. I don't remember it, but I've seen the footage. Like land on my back, head banging off the floor, out, get subbed off, whatever. Like don't really know what's going on. Obviously not allowed to play. You have to sit in the van for the rest of the game because it's pouring rain. And then for quite a while, like obviously, so you're not supposed to like look at any phones and that kind of stuff. And like no bright lights, like lots of sleep, like that kind of stuff. Like and my head was like hurting, like when I would try and like do stuff. Felt quite sort of like lonely, like being out there, not being able to be on my phone, like talk to family and friends and that stuff back home.
Especially if you're abroad, right?
It was hard. Like you need, I was grateful for having like good friends around, people that sort of like took care of me and was able to like help with that kind of stuff. Because it can feel quite lonely, and it feels being an athlete and wanting to like push yourself. I think at any level, any type of injury, not being able to do that is almost the worst thing ever.
We spoke. Who did I speak to this about? I can't remember now. But I've almost argued that, and you'd be a good person as well. Maybe you'd think differently now. You're sort of at that level. I sort of had a point of view that was like, is an injury maybe more detrimental to someone who's not at the pro level because you haven't necessarily got that support around you, and especially when you're working as well, or you've got a family, whatever it is. Even if you are like a really dedicated athlete and you've got a sport what you're working towards, exercise still offers kind of an escape, like a healthy coping mechanism. So like if you've had a bad day at work or like it's been really stressful with the family for whatever reason, at least you've got your exercise to have like a bit of you time, a bit like sweat it out, like really sort of exert yourself. And that's not to say like professional athletes, it's not hard for them, but you've got more of a system, if you like, around you to support you and help you with that recovery. Would you say that's fair? Would you be like, no, because you've obviously been on both sides of it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like even say this year, I had a little tear in my my groin, like, or my hip flexor area. And I'm still going in like every day. So seeing physios, getting massages, getting rubs in the oxygen chamber, in the sauna, in the ice bath, able to spend got like red light therapy, like whatever, got every like sort of resource you could you could ask for, and people around you that are checking in, like they can. I was like if you just say ask like my physio, I'm not that good at like icing it every day. Can you just like make sure I do? Like every like twice a day, just send a message like, have you been icing? Like it's that kind of thing that you don't get. And it being your job, like you can still almost be fully involved and you're still getting paid, say, for even when you're injured. Whereas if you're like you're just still an amateur athlete working alongside, it almost feels like half of your personality or your job is gone when you can't work out. So it definitely is easier. Like, but then on the flip side, the want and the need to perform and be active is also there when you're like a professional athlete.
Of course,
you feel,
and arguably there's more weight behind it, right?
Yeah, you feel like useless as well.
Because it's your one thing, right? That's what you're sort of only doing. And if you can't do it, it's I think that goes across whatever level you're playing at, because it's sort of, as you kind of said earlier, like you do it because you love it, right? And if you suddenly can't do the thing you can't love, like, I've spoken to people so much about this. Obviously, I spent so long injured. I was like, it doesn't matter if it's sport or anything else. If you suddenly got told or were put in a position where you couldn't do the one thing you loved doing, like, it ruined you.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, like their sport is their relief. So like if you're then just stuck doing your job and you have a stressful day and you can't do anything, it's worse than, because the worst that you can do as a professional athlete, you have a bad day, you don't have to do anything you don't like. It is just a lot easier at the end of the day. So I think there's a lot of ways that being being an amateur athlete is hard, full stop, I would say.
Mm.
There's obviously a lot more demand in this performance space, being a professional athlete.
Yes.
Different stresses that come like that way. But you have every opportunity given to you realistically. So
I think that's probably quite
a different struggle.
Interesting sort of comparable, because Tom, my coach, competes in decathlon for Scotland, and he was saying sort of the massive thing for him is that he's a full-time coach as well, but in his sport it's very much not for necessarily a, relatively speaking, long period. Say if you compared it to, like, obviously for me, football or like rugby, the performance window is small, like in terms of time, but you've got to be absolutely at your maximal, on the money, 100%, because it is such a small window. Say it is like a 100-meter spin.
Yeah.
Whereas like in a rugby or a football game, if you weren't quite on it for one sort of sprint, you're fine. Like you got exactly. You got plenty of others to do it. So it's sort of interesting that. Is there, because I listened to a podcast with Amanda, somebody, the ex-owner of Newcastle. But I don't know if she was the owner. She was I think she was the CEO though.
Yeah.
Interviewed on the High Performance podcast, and she was saying how big I don't want to call it mental. It was like player support. It was more generalised rather than just mental health. But they were talking about Sandro Tonali when he'd got a betting ban. Where he'd been banned because he was betting. Sorry. But they gave a few other examples, like whether it was like a player who'd just become a father sort of thing, had a family, or was injured for a long period. And there was a lot of focus and support on how you'd help that player when they're in sort of that time of stress or unease. Is that accessible in like the world of rugby? Is that something that's focused on so much? Or?
Yeah, so I believe every club has to have like I don't know what you call it, like sort of a psychology or a mental health sort of officer, not officer, but whatever.
I know what you mean.
So like just checking in on the boy that can speak to anyone, but it is a big thing, like especially like boys who have come from like sort of academy and that kind of stuff. Like you're on decent money from young age, can be, and then you almost don't know what to do with it. There's a lot of people that do get into a lot of gambling, or drinking problems or whatever, especially when you always can fall into sort of a God complex, especially like if you're in it from like a young age. So like being then pulled out of that when you're older, but there is that support. Like we'd have psychology meetings and all that kind of stuff to give an outlet, like if you're there. But then there's a lot of sort of onus on the team keeping each other accountable, because most people with like say a problem, chances are you're not going to seek out the help.
No,
there's a lot of like being put forward by the other guys. Like if we would go out, you just like keep each other in check, kind of. Like you're going to have fun. You're going to whatever. You're obviously all grown men. Like you can do what you want, but you do have that responsibility to like look out for each other.
Yeah, I think that's that probably. Again, across any sport, it's just having a good team environment helps across the board, whether that's like a performance point of view or like helping someone who's going a bit of a rough patch, right? Just having, you've got a good group of people, right? That's, I think, valuable across so many areas of it. You kind of touched on the other area, and I think of kind of what happens afterwards, like when you come out of that system. Is there almost like awareness and understanding of like you need to prepare for life after rugby kind of thing? Because obviously, like football again, relatively speaking, the career, it's a short window. It's not that long. But are you, whether it's taught or like given awareness or sort of an education of what you can do afterwards?
Yeah, so like, the club will like offer like support and like say while you're playing, obviously offering like pensions and stuff, but also like financial advice and like and if you want to like give us 10% of your wage, we'll use our people to invest it for you. And my agents usually have the same sort of stuff. So my agent has a financial guy that if you want, you can set a certain amount of your wage to them that you won't see to spend, but they'll invest it for you. Obviously.
No, sure.
So because it is a short time, especially if you're playing like sort of almost a lower level. So say almost like, I don't know what the wages are in like say League One, but even if you're making like 150,000 a year, whatever, or like good weight, like which is good money. Like realistically, that's good money. But say you're making that for 10 years, you had a good career, you made it for 10 years. After that, you got no like experience in the workplace, that kind of thing. You've been taxed, say 45%, 5% to your agent. You made like half of that each year. You're not like, if you're smart with your money, you could probably be pretty fine. Like you could be investing it well, and you're pretty sorted. You could almost chill, like you're gonna have to do something, but you can chill a bit more. Whereas if you don't get that, then you're at your end of your career, you've not got much left.
I actually heard Jolien Lescott, who used to play for Everton, speaking about like this exactly, and how sort of, yes, obviously it's great money and it's like very fortunate, but you don't think about like agent fees. Like they need to live in like specialized sort of communities because they need the masses of security, because they obviously can't just be in a normal house that anybody can get to and whatnot. These other things you don't think about, and like, what if you've only got a 2-year contract? Like once that's up, you're stuck. Like, or what happens?
And mortgages and stuff like that. Like a lot of the boys sort of almost struggle to get approved for mortgage. Like if your contract's a year, you're gonna struggle to get a 30-year mortgage. And it's ups and downs. So like, at the same time, like your wages, you can't complain with it. When you made it to that level, but it's tough. It helps having that support around you, like when you have like, I don't know, people to talk to about it, like financial advisors, that kind of thing.
It sounds weird, but almost on like, it's obviously still money related, but is there kind of almost like career advice of like, well, this is what you could do afterwards?
Yeah, definitely. And there's a lot of like boys that even towards the end of their career, like I was playing last year, there was a couple of guys that were like late or early 30s. They had like a couple years later, and like a year before, they'd like started to go to like uni and stuff to get their degree for like after they'd been like obviously covered by the club. Like talked to about like they've got their plan for retirement from rugby and after, if they want to do something. Whether that's PTing or whether that's business or whether that's real estate or whatever it is. Like realistically, unless you're being like a coach for after, you need probably do need something else.
Do you know what you'd want to do?
Yeah, well, kind of. So it's a similar sort of thing. So probably real estate, realistically.
Okay,
But at the minute, obviously, like trying to be very frugal with my money. Saving, trying to invest in properties.
Nice.
That kind of thing. So something around that. Obviously, coming from more hands-on sort of background in my past, I'd like to do something like that. Like working on my own sort of stuff as well as.
Better business as well. You can do more yourself. I've got a few mates that are doing it. And sort of if you can, like, rather than paying people to do up places, sort of thing. If you've got the skills you have to do that, there's more money to be made, right? I think a lot of people seem to be getting into kind of the property thing, and rightly so. It's a good thing to be able to do. Would you go back into coaching at all?
I don't know. So I've coached a little bit. I don't know. It's good fun. I like coaching sort of around like the 18-year-old mark.
You
still have that mark, like ability to influence what they know and that kind of thing.
Sure.
But they've also got
their own skills.
Sort of and they're a bit less shy sometimes than like. But it depends what kids you get. But but it's never really been like a long term.
No.
It would be like a coaching my kids clubs, that kind of thing on the weekend, I think, in the future. But not as a job, I don't think.
Is there anything you sort of big took away from the coaching you have done and that sort of affected how you played and whatnot?
There's little things, like obviously from like everyone, almost every week you like learn something new. Like, it doesn't matter what level you're at, whether that's just about yourself, something you've done like on the pitch, or on the training, or whether that's something you've been told. But I think some of the things are, one of the biggest ones was wasn't to do with like rugby at all. It's just about life, and it was just making your bed every morning. Just because my coach was saying that it doesn't matter whether you had a shit hit training or whatever in life, your girlfriend's broke up with you, you dropped every ball, whatever, you come back to a made bed, like it's not that bad. Like you come back to a messy house, messy bed, whatever, and it's just something to do, like a little win in the morning. Like it's that kind of, I think those little things mean more to me than on the pitch stuff.
Oh yeah, it's setting yourself up right. Like, I'm a massive fan of Jordan Peterson. if you've heard of it. And he speaks a lot about this. And I think his whole thing, it was about making you better, but it was like having your house in order before like you criticize other people or go about your day. And it's sort of, as you say, sort of having things in place and set up. And if you can start your day on like a small win, even if it is a small win, you've made your bread, tick in the box. Okay, right. Yeah. And that's like your foundation. Yeah. And it sounds silly, doesn't it? Because it's sort of, it's such a minute thing that you think, well, what's that going to do? But it's like the framing of it. It's like, that's a positive start.
Yeah. And I'm big for ice baths as well.
Yeah.
Not like specifically for physical benefits, because there's a lot of contradiction. Like,
it's interesting, right?
Or not. But I think just mentally, you can sit in a freezing cold bath that you don't want to do. Like realistically, you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like it's just that little win.
And
it's that little battle as well. Like I could probably get out now, but if you tell yourself you want to do 2 minutes, I think it's those little, like you can't let yourself off.
No,
I think that's obviously the worst thing that you can do is like not keep a promise to yourself.
Yeah,
more so than other people. Yeah, if you told yourself you're going to do it, when you start giving yourself excuses, that's when it.
Well, this is it. It's the stuff people don't see, and it's when you're not doing it. It's almost easier when you've got like other people around you, like sort of not pressurizing you, but you've got that influence, like, oh, people are watching, or like people are not going to see what I do. Whereas like when you're on your own, you're like, oh, I could easily say no here, but no, if you're like, right, I'm going to do this, I said I'm going to do it, you get it done.
Yeah, like when we got team ice baths, everyone does it the whole time.
Yeah,
it's when you're on your own in that same room. No one's going to know if you get a minute early. Like no one's going to know if you get 10 seconds early. Yeah, but you know.
Yeah.
Just holding yourself accountable.
No, I love them. I think they're so good. And it's what I wanted to talk to you about actually. But I think I got weirdly, I don't know, like addicted, but it became almost an excessive coping mechanism, I'd say, when I had my first knee injuries, because I found it just worked so well. So it was like, I do it like twice a day sometimes, because I was like, right, if I can sort of help my knees a bit, but also you say like the mental side of it just sort of chills you out. Like you're forcing to sort of stay controlled in a high stress situation, right? But this is what I wanted to get to, because I know you love a cold dip. Like I've seen you found some great spots up north that I've been properly jealous of. And how much and how important is that to you in terms of whether it's from the physical, mental, or even just sort of being still, having that time to switch off? I remember you said you went and did like a hike and found like a cold sort of
like waterfall.
Something to go and do. Like, do you recognise that so much? Or is it just like, oh, I enjoy it, I'll go and do that?
Yeah, I think making that swap from like an amateur athlete to a pro. When you're an amateur, your belief is your sport. When you're a pro and your sport is then your job, you still kind of need something to do outside of that. Like, so I think for me, that was a big part of like just being in nature and like off your phone.
Yeah.
It's a nice reset, and then you're still getting to go do cool things and just be outside. I think this year and past year, I've been trying to get off my phone more. Like I probably delete Instagram like every other day, to be honest. Okay. So probably why I wasn't answering your DM for so long. But it's just spending like time away, just reconnecting with like what's actually around. Gives you time to like think too, like because you get so caught up, like especially in like day-to-day life that obviously you do when you got a job as well. But when you're an athlete, like little things can seem like the end of the world. Like when you're injured, it can seem like, oh fuck, I'm not doing what I should be. I'm not able to perform. I'm not going to be kept on. Say again what we were saying about like the contracts. Like, what if I'm not good at the end of this?
I wanted to ask you about that because I feel like that is something that fascinates me, because it is a reality, right? And you do see some sort of feel-good stories, if you like, where say a player has been dealing with a long-term injury and a club's been like super supportive. But there's like the flip side of that, where you got a long-term injury, your contract's coming up to an end, clubs are going to say, well, we can't use you, you're done, like bye.
It's a business.
Does that weigh in your mind heavily, like whenever you've got an injury, or sort of do you think is there generally like a supportive environment now, or what's that kind of dynamic like?
Yeah, I mean personally, I've never really had a injury at the end of like a contract.
Sure.
So I've been, touch wood, I've been quite lucky with that. But I think it definitely would play like quite a big role in like your mental aspect. But there would be all the support you could have. Like while you're contracted, the club would do everything. But you would be scared that they wouldn't. There's almost no reason for them to take you. Like, and that's another thing. Like, then do you push yourself to be ready before you are? and get injured again and make it worse for yourself, it's tough. And you never know like the right answer. Like you could push yourself and you're fine. You could push yourself and you get hurt, and you're never going to know what you would have done the other way. So,
well, what's the sort of return to play protocols like in rugby? Because I've recognised this a lot in football. I don't feel like it's being spoken about enough. I feel like you see a lot of players at the top level being rushed back and getting so many repeat injuries. And you're like, hang on, something's not right here, because you shouldn't be recovering from an injury and then getting injured again. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a chance of that. You're ultimately going to have weaknesses after you've had an injury, right? But there should be a process that, right, okay, we are ready. Not let's rush back for X game. And obviously, if it's a fine or whatever, you can understand it. But if it's just like an average league game, it's like saying that there's something's gone wrong there.
Yeah. I mean, so rugby, like, last place was that we had, like, you could do your testing at the start of the season, whatever. So you get your static sort of strength.
Yeah.
So you push on all, like, get your force registered, whatever. So when you come back from an injury, you have to be within a certain percentage of that force.
Sure.
But the same thing, we had so many hamstring tears, and we had a couple of boys that came back and then tore the same one, like first game, second game back. And I think that comes from a stubbornness, especially from professional players, especially from like a contact sport. You're so used to sort of pretending you're not hurt and that kind of thing. That it almost feels normal when it's not right. So it's either you don't know, or you want to be like, it'll be fine. I'll just suck it up, and then you can't. It just goes again. But it makes it worse. But I don't know. There's always that thought that I'm ready, and you always think that you're different as well, which no one really is.
Yeah, we're like, oh, we're special, we'll be fine. But no, you're
until
not.
It happens to you.
Body's your greatest asset, right? Well, what do you think about that? Because I think it's funny you say it, and I've always sort of had that perception of rugby. It's like it is more of a grittier sport, if you like. Players are like more firm, but in recent years there does seem to be more. What is it they call it? Gamesmanship. No, not gamesmanship. Like where you're trying to bend the rules.
Yeah.
And whether that's like diving, because I remember I saw Stuart Hogg. This feels bad. I'm like picking out somebody, but he got called out when I remember got shared on a few places, and it was like, hang on, this doesn't happen in rugby. Like that's not a thing. Because like, that was the whole thing. Because I played football and rugby growing up, and it was always fascinating for me and for my parents watching kind of the different culture, if you like, of both. Like football, like parents are shouting their heads off at their kids. It's not very sporting. Like people will come and like tackle you badly. There's diving. Whereas rugby, it's like the flip side of that. Like it's all very well. Like you have a meal with the opposition team afterwards. Like, it's very, I don't want to say friendly because you obviously are competitive, but it's just a better environment. But I always feel like I've seen it kind of on TV and stuff. Like in the past years, rugby is like some of that's filtered in. I'm like, what's going on there? Do you recognise that yourself? Like, do you see it or?
Yeah, I think especially from like the top level, you're looking. And this might be wrong, but you're looking for like the edge, obviously, on your opponent.
Yeah,
like you're
this is an argument,
it's your
right?
job, like to be better than whoever you're playing.
Yeah,
and to know the rules and use them to like your advantage. If you can get away with like getting a penalty, like wrong or rightfully so, you almost are paid to try it. So whether that, and then I think seeing that from obviously you see that at the top level ends up trickling down naturally. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I mean, it's probably a bad thing.
Well, what do you think? What's your personal view? Like, do you think it's the right thing to do? Or
I mean, at the same time, it's almost your job to milk a penalty. Like, you do little things to get under the skin, whether that's talking or whether that's holding them in or giving a little, like, I don't know, doing something like slightly very illegal in the bottom of a rock or something. You almost are silly not to try it. Yeah. So it's tough. I mean, it's not good for the game, but at the same time, like you can't really blame a player for doing it.
Yeah.
And that's probably why they've got to where they are. Like, if you're 100% fair, you're not. Your opponent is going to do it to you.
You're missing out on an edge that they're going to take advantage of, right?
So it's tough. It's a tough one.
I don't know. Is there a right answer?
Yeah. But it doesn't look good for the game.
No, and I think that was kind of what stuck out to me was like, because it is just an accepted thing in football, rightly or wrongly, and I feel like rugby's always done well in kind of its perception in that it is perceived and it is a very sporting sport, and that's something that's like put it in good stead, right? But if those sort of things start filtering in, like, does that change? I don't know, but yeah.
I mean, it's tough because you want the core values to stay the same, but the game evolves. Rules change, game evolves. The way it's played like changes. Like the amount of hamstring tears you see and like soft tissue and that kind of stuff now, because players are getting quicker, that kind of thing. Like the sport has different demands, like as it did 20 years ago.
No, sure.
So yeah, it's tough because science gets better, training gets better, people get fitter, stronger, still faster. Different strains on your body, the rules change. It changes the game.
Yeah. No, can't argue with that. Okay, so recent win of yours, playing against France in rugby league.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah, so a week and a bit ago. It's over in France, a little town called Albi, near Toulouse, just outside of Toulouse.
Okay.
Played for Jamaica, got picked up this season by them, so we had a little training camp before. Went out there, played. They're pretty good. we were right, but we weren't as good on the day. We lost, but it was my first international match in rugby league. So it was probably after this playing just rugby league this season. So still fairly new to the game. It was a cool experience. Good to get to play like against sort of some of the world's best. So it was a good like eye-opening experience, and I always love going on tour. Like at the end of the day, like you're with like-minded people, like similar interests, similar whatever. But there's so many of you. You've got so much going on, so many dynamics of like trying to build team spirit in such a short time. Like, and obviously playing internationally, you're not at the same clubs, you're not at whatever. So it's just bringing boys in from like all around and be able to gel. Like it's just a cool environment. I was just grateful to be part.
Yeah, no, I bet. What I was going to ask, what do you find works and doesn't work? Because you hear that a lot in football, and I'm sure it's the same in rugby, in that when you bring players onto the international stage, and as you say, you've got such a short window to be able to create that bond to then go and play together when people are coming from all over the countries and different teams and whatnot. Well, what is there like? Did Jamaica do it well? Like, is there sort of certain strategies they have in place to be able to help that?
Yeah, I think realistically, it's just about your culture. Like coming in from different places, playing a lot of sevens, we had to do this a lot. So I got quite a good feel of what makes a good you almost feel a vibe before.
Yeah,
I mean, especially a contact sport, you need to have faith in who you're stood next to. So there's a lot of like team bonding. Like first night, it's gonna sound a bit whatever. We all like had to sing songs for each other and that kind of thing. And like, lots of little like things to embarrass you, get close to each other, like just so that when you're out there and you're on your feet and you're about to stick your head in front of a bloke that wants to run you over for his country, you're not backing out. Like you're standing with whoever you're next to. So it's just that. It's just team bonding at the end of the day, which is always fun.
Right. So what's next? You said pre-season preparations, obviously big for you. What are the goals for next season?
Yeah, so pre-season's about to start. It's like a 4-month sort of thing. We get a little break over Christmas. So it should be like Monday, Tuesday, team bonding Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. So, but those days are quite long. And so the club I'm going to, at the start of pre-season, they have like you'd be working for the first week, I believe it is. They get you like a almost construction / like community job, like the whole squad.
Okay.
So you gym in the morning.
Yeah.
And then throughout the day, you'd work, say, whatever for the council, whatever, like doing things in the community, and then you train in the evening.
Okay.
So to give you like the perspective of like how lucky you are to be professional. Like, when you're semi-pro, the stuff that you have to do is so much harder.
Yeah.
Just to like reinstill that into make sure that everyone's on the same page. Like if you weren't playing rugby like at this level, this is what your life would be like. Like, be grateful for that, and it's harder. So
I think that's brilliant. I mean, I've never heard of anything like that.
Yeah, I think it's quite. And also for the club, it gets a bit of community like involvement.
I was going to
looks
say,
good
and
for
like
them.
you value, because obviously I guess you meet with like supporters ultimately of the club, right? That sort of you're engaging with them, which is good in that sense. But as you say as well, you're then more appreciative of the position you're in, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's good all round. It's hard all round, but
but then the pre-season is right.
Pre-season is always going to be, especially in rugby. I think with the recent like sort of explosion of like high rocks.
Yeah.
Personally, I would say like rugby is like the almost most well-rounded sport.
Okay.
Like this might sound naive, whatever, but to play at like the highest level, you have to be so fit, and you have to be quick, and you have to be strong, and you have to be like physically tough too. Like you can't just be good 1 week and be injured. Like you have to have longevity in your body. Yeah. So I think for those reasons.
I think that's a pretty fair argument. And obviously, I'd personally compare it to football, but as you say, like in rugby, the physical side of it's much bigger. Like it's obviously an aspect in football, but not to the same extent. Yeah. But you still got the technical side in rugby, right? You still got to be sort of your brain's got to be sharp. You got to be fit, you got to be fresh. No, because I always think it's interesting. Like you get subbed way early in a rugby match than you do in football. But I feel like football's changing now because sort of the number of games is going up. But obviously, physically, you just get battered. Like it's not just a case of
your legs get tired.
Your legs get tired. Like but like you're getting slammed into constantly. Your body's just gonna be like, I'm done at 60 minutes or whatever, and that's understandable, right? It's different lows, different expectations.
It is different, and at the end of the day, you can never really compare how tough a sport is. No. It's all personal experience too.
Yeah, and it is different at the end of the day, right? There's different demands. Like I think, say for football, probably the demand on like your cardio system is probably higher. Like the numbers players are running now is crazy. It's like 12k in a game. Like it's nuts. Then flip side of that is like rugby. It's like you're getting slammed into constantly, and you've got to be able to sustain that, right, and keep going and still perform. Like athletics or endurance is a different kind of load. You've got to be able to keep going. Like
it's tough.
That's the beauty of sport, right?
I was about to say, it's all
sort of nuances to each one. Okay, right. I think we're sort of at the wrapping up point now. But that was great. But quick fire questions.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Now this one doesn't really apply, so I'll change it slightly. Yeah, okay. What did it? It's usually what does it mean? What did it mean to be an amateur athlete for you?
I think it meant putting in the work without expecting like the praise or not being guaranteed of that your results are going to be seen by anyone or appreciated.
Favorite quote at the moment?
Oh, you should have prepped me on that. The same boiling water that turns a potato soft turns an egg hard.
Oh,
it's just about your environment. You don't always get to choose it.
Yeah.
You sort of can choose how it affects you.
No, for sure.
I quite like that.
No, I like that. I haven't heard that one before. I like that. Best lesson from your years of training?
Ooh. I would say on one of my points, stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Greatest achievement so far?
Probably playing in the Sevens World Cup in South Africa and having my dad out there to watch. Nice. That was a pretty cool one.
Nice, yeah, I bet. Biggest goal on the horizon?
Would probably be making a Rugby League World Cup.
Yeah.
So,
What do you fall short in balancing that you'd like to get better at?
I'd say this one wouldn't be like something in my day-to-day life, but I'd say sort of mentally.
Sure.
I would say give myself a bit more grace. I'm quite harsh on myself I might do everything right in the game, but miss or score a hat trick, whatever, but miss a tackle and be too focused on the tackle. At a point you need to do that, but at a point you need to give yourself.
Yeah, I love all that. I'm similar. I'm very self-critical, but I almost focus on the other side. That you need to be able to celebrate the wins, even if they're tiny.
Yeah, 100%.
Like recognize it and be like, "No, I did this well. This was really good." And I suck at that. And I think it's important. It's hard, but it's important.
I mean, never too high, never too low.
Yeah,
you can't celebrate too much because the next game's coming around the corner. And you can't put yourself down too much.
No, I bet. Okay, and the last one is from our last guest, Jason. who is an Ironman triathlete. And his question was, knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently as a child?
Okay, we haven't really touched on this. I think, like, performance-wise, for me, I think my sleep has been is like one of your biggest assets, like looking after your body-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I prioritized that growing up. I wonder how much that could have affected my development growing up, or even performance, whatever. So I think the importance of recovery, I'd say. I don't know.
No, I think that's good. I've been the same. It's ongoing processes, learning how to prioritize sleep.
It's tough.
It is, but it's your biggest asset when it comes to recovery, right? That's when your body mends itself. Finally, what question would you like to leave for the next guest?
Oh, next question. Okay, if I was a genie and I could offer you any one attribute from someone, it could be famous in your field or whatever, someone in your sport and discipline, what would you pick, and why would you pick it, and what would you pick from them? So say, as a footballer, you might pick Mbappe's speed, or Ronaldo's work ethic, or something like that.
There you go. Thank you very much.